The people in my life who've gone through the most significant tragedies often tend to be the funniest people in my life. If you lean toward comedy, you're going to find truth. And if you lean toward sadness, heartbreak, grief, you're going to find comedy. The trick was just not ignoring that.
Trouble on my left, trouble on my right. I've been facing trouble on my side.
I know this has been a long, long time, but 7 years for you. Where did this idea come from?
Well, the prologue from the movie is straight out of something that happened to my sister when I was a kid. She got in trouble for drawing a picture of her teacher getting pelted with arrows. She had to go see a counselor, and the counselor said, "Did you really want to see this happen to your teacher?" And she said, "I did when I drew it. I don't now." And the counselor said, "I think you did the right thing. I think that drawing this was a much healthier choice than doing it." Flash forward to my daughter was in kindergarten, and one day she brings home these drawings that are just inventively violent, like without precedent, just parent death, all of this content that I'm like, where is this coming from? And I realized in that moment, you can believe two things at once. You can believe that art is the safest place for violence while also believing that your daughter's a serial killer and it's somehow your fault. And that tension felt immediately writable to me.
And Tony, I know you're a producer on this as well. So how far into the process did you come in? And was that something that you negotiated at the time, or have you been carrying this for a while?
Yeah, the genesis really, well, you had written the script. Had you written the script?
I'd written the first act, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Like a coward, I gave it to Tony to read. Didn't tell him I was writing it for him. Said, "Will you read it as a friend, as a script?" Bounce.
But also like a coward, I would give notes back in like my voice. It's like, hire me. It has just been such a journey. Like we would go back and forth and kind of give ideas for lines and story things. But finding financing in and out of producers. And at one point it was going to be a TV show. Finally getting the financing, finding this wonderful cast. I've not produced much. But that last day of rap, I was so elated.
He picked me up. I'm a big guy.
In a cornfield. Oh, this is loud. This is loud.
My feet were in the air for like minutes at a time.
Just because all the stuff, the weather delays, scheduling, I don't typically have to think about that kind of stuff, To know that we got through it was just thrilling.
I think you said your kids drew some of the monsters?
We had basically started with a concept artist that then a bunch of us gave to our kids first like sketches and then had them copy them. And with that, you get all the asymmetries and the wonkiness. And then we handed it back to the concept artist. Yeah. So everybody had a hand in it.
Tell them where the Eiders came from. That's one. I love this.
The Eiders, I drew the Eiders. They are an homage to, I love that you make me tell this all the time.
So
the
cool.
Taco Bell did a line of straws in the 90s called Monster Eye straws every Halloween that were crazy straws with eyeballs in them. And it was the first movie I ever made in 6th grade called Eyes: The Invasion. And so they are direct references to my first film.
I love that.
How hard was it to get out there and try to put together financing for this?
I'd known actually Seth for a long time. We'd worked together on different projects over 20 years. I had great confidence that he could pull something like this off for a budget that would not be a Hollywood budget. I said, well, give me the script, the latest version. So I read it and I came back and said, we can do this movie, but we just got to do it for a price. We can be scrappy. Seth said, well, if you can find money, and I'm terrible at raising money, but in 2 weeks we had 2 different parties who were ready to put up some money. So it all came together very quickly.
All your child actors are hilarious.
Unbelievable.
And so ahead of their time. But what was it like reading with Bianca? And Bianca, how long did it take you to nail this part? Yeah.
I just loved the story as soon as I read it because, it felt like something that I would watch personally in the theater, and then I could also relate to the character as well because she seems a lot like me because we both like to draw.
We read a lot of really wonderful actors for the role, but when Bianca came on, she had this just punk rock vibe to her that was undeniable. After that audition, I kept just seeing, suddenly she was in the movie in my head.
You've used Spielberg and specifically Jurassic Park, I think, as a
if you can't tell
frame of reference. Darcy, I think your character, speaking of that like Spielbergian tradition, has a really cool sort of like indifferent getting stuff done, like but still kind of very insightful like aunt character that people can attach themselves to because who doesn't have that person in their life?
Yeah, no nonsense, loyal. She's like, she kind of can't be bothered. And, but she like clearly loves her family so much,
I think when grief is as big a part of a plot as it is for this, it can, again, be really hard to balance and not maybe bleed into areas that are uncomfortable or where the whole movie doesn't go in that direction. I mean, obviously your script is one thing, but like, were there specific like guide points in every single point of filmmaking where you're like, okay, we have to make sure that this has, like, you know, if one bubble gets bigger than the other, they all burst.
The people in my life who've gone through the most significant tragedies often tend to be the funniest people in my life. I think that if you lean any way authentically, you're going to find the other. If you lean toward comedy, you're going to find truth. And if you lean toward sadness, heartbreak, grief, you're going to find comedy. And the trick was just not ignoring that on either side, giving the movie as much as we could a comedy engine, but also working with people who are so intent on keeping it grounded. Tony's so good at what he does because he is not occupied at all with comedy. He knows it's there. He trusts the material. He trusts that the joke is going to play. He is fully focused on selling the truth and honesty of the moment.
This is a really post-heavy movie, and you are reacting, all of you are reacting in real time to like physical forces. I mean, did you feel ridiculous at all? Like how much commitment does that take?
The script was so clear. Like when I read the script, I could see everything in my mind. As an actor, so much of it is like, don't make me look like an idiot, please. And I felt so much confidence from you guys. So I was like, I trust it.
Bianca, how was that experience for you with like running from the monsters and how you...
I mean, I loved playing pretend, so I guess it kind of came easier for me. But yeah, I guess I just feel ridiculous anyway. Yeah. So
it's so important to know that whoever's captaining the ship, you feel safe. Because many times we've been on jobs and it's like, is anybody captaining this ship? And we always felt like Seth knew exactly what he wanted. And then we had such support. This is Dusty Brown, who's also producing the movie. And he was always on set. You just felt like it was a very communal experience. Like Dusty became friends with everybody, you know? And it's like that kind of experience, you can feel it in the movie.
I think too, to that point, you were asking earlier about producing, and the key for us is if we know the vision backwards and forwards, just like a theater actor knows their lines backwards and forwards, it's easier to put these things in place. And one thing that Seth does incredibly well is he casts that vision in every aspect, whether it's the visuals or whether it's the script. In every aspect, we know exactly what his vision is, so we know what to do. So if we have that in place, all we have to then do is connect the people. And that's all on Seth that makes that job especially easy. Yeah.
Since it does feel like such an expansive like storytelling world, I mean, I know the film isn't even released yet, but is there anything left there? Do you think it would be a franchise?
There's 6 sequels, Seth, go ahead.
6 sequels, yeah.
All right, I'll walk you through them all right now.
Sketchier. Yeah.
We had I think every day about a conversation with Darcy and Bia on set, where I was like, you guys haven't had any scenes together. And they were like, yeah, what's up with that? And I was like, all right, fine. Sketch 2, I'll make sure that you guys get it. And then we, in that moment, came up with a subplot that's like my favorite thing I've ever thought of. As a joke, we were just riffing. And now it's all I think about. So who knows?
You wouldn't share that now, would you?
No, because it's too good.
But congratulations to you all for really putting something beautiful out in the world. Can you give it up for these guys?
Thank you so much for coming.
Really appreciate it.